All right, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us. We are here today for Rotary 101. It's May of 2024. We're rolling into the last stretch. The finish line is in sight. Amelia has her baton in her hand. I mean, I have my baton in my hand. Sorry. Wait, hold on. Sheila was kind enough to make sure I actually had a baton. So my baton is in hand and we can see the finish line, but we have work to do before we're done. So today's Rotary 101, we're going to be talking about some of the youth protection information with Phil, our chair, and he's going to talk about kind of what's coming and brief us on that a little bit, as well as what his presentation is going to include. But what I wanted to start with is I kind of like to go through and introduce you guys to a couple of pages that you might not look. So who do we have here? If I could get a quick show of hands, who is here because they're relatively newish to Rotary and they're here to kind of learn what's going on and see what's the haps? Sheila. Yeah, you're new. And then for those of you that are here because youth and you need to have some direction on that, and then those of you that are here because you just love hanging out with us on random yay. I love all the reasons. So I'm not going to belabor and go through a bunch of painful information and make you guys look at every single page, but I do want to reference some stuff that we've got coming up in the district. So I'll have share my screen and have us visit the district page together real quick in the beginning here so that we can kind of talk about some dates that are coming up and things that I just want people to know. And then I'll turn it over to Phil to begin his presentation. So like I said, we're in the home stretch, and one of the things that's coming up is the awards and installation event happening on, I believe, one of the best choices we've had so far. We're trying it on a Sunday afternoon because that way people can have some family time on the weekend and then, kind of finish off their weekend with a big bang with the Rotary. And from 2 to 5, we'll be celebrating all of the achievements of the clubs. Sheila is feverishly working with each club that needs assistance to go through the process of applying for the awards and how to access all the information, submit, etc. And then she and I are having a meeting very shortly later this week to kind of go through everything that is happening and make sure that everything's lined up. So I'm really grateful that we have amazing people working on this that we just don't even know the folks that are contributing to events like this. When you see a poster like this and you see this event is going to happen, think about the volunteer hours and the passion and the love that's poured into just this event, and now multiply that by 1,000 for all of the energy that's going to be in that room when everyone comes collectively to celebrate all of the volunteer hours that have gone into improving the communities around Virginia in the name of Rotary and because we know that it's the right thing to do. So this is coming up. Registration is now. Deadline is, I believe, the 17th of June. And if I'm wrong, somebody blurt it out. But we have a few things that are coming up that I want you to particularly pay attention to. June the 8th, we've been invited. I'm sorry, it's not showing up on our calendar, but it should be. On June the 8th, we've been invited to participate in District 7620's. They're going to be in the Pride Parade in DC. They've already got a spot. So they've invited us if we want to march with them to don Rotary Pride t-shirts that they're ordering and walk in the parade to show our intentions for inclusion and allyship and belonging. And I think it's a really awesome, fun thing that we would be doing it with a partner district. And so if you guys want to do that, it might not be right here on this, but it is in the calendar. And there's a link. You just click multi-district event and it's going to show up and you can just sign up to participate. So that's coming up. what else is really soon that I'm missing? Because I feel like I should be talking about something. Sheila, anybody? Oh, this weekend there's oh, that's maybe background stuff. Okay, awards. Like I said, Sheila's been working on that. And the district grant setup. Is that the thing I should be talking about, Sheila? Yes, she's shaking her head. On May 18th. That's what's in my head. So there's gonna be a DAC DV University basically on the district grant setup. So you can um uh, uh attend this, and this is a really great place to send your folks that are going to be working on that. Okay, so I am going to then skip over to Phil. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And let me verify in the chat. Okay. Thank you, Tracy, for saying that you're here because you love hanging out with us, but also because you want to learn about service. That's good. Okay. All right. So without further ado, if anybody has any questions or anything at the end, we can cover that. But if there's anything in particular that pertains to what's being discussed, feel free to click on your hand raise, and I'll be kind of watching so I can point out to Phil if he doesn't see, if you guys have questions as we go through. So Phil, thank you so very much for being here. I appreciate you and all the hard work that you've done this year to kind of turn this around so that we're complying with the requirements through RI. So if you could divulge us with information, that'd be great. Thank you.
Well, it's been a pleasure to work with you, Renee, and all the people that have come forward in our youth services programs, Jonathan and Peter and Barry and all the district coordinators that have been online with me. One person in particular, Connie Corwin, is just been a godsend. She's always come to my aid when I get technologically flustered, and I think for everyone. So I'd like to start off with the fact that we do have this youth protection policies and procedures document, which we're refining, and we hope to have it out and published here very shortly. I think it is a compendium that goes across both the youth programs that we have at the district and our youth exchange programs. So it's a single document, which I think helps because it delineates the separation of those programs. And sometimes youth exchange requires something that our own programs don't require. Okay, and I'm just talking about documentation, such as background checks. Background checks are taken care of in the youth exchange program through our multi-district Essex Eastern States Student Exchange system. In the district, we have a form that you apply to me, and then I have one source, our background check agency, send you an application, and you complete that, and that's how we start the process for background checks for our district programs, district youth programs. So that was a big change this year, because in prior years we were using the Essex to support our background checks. So and that seems to be working. It's a little tedious to get the background check out to you, but it works. The only problem I see is that we have so few people that have taken advantage of that, which I think we need to really get more people involved, because I'm sure there are programs in the district where we have coordinators that need background checks. Okay, so we need to get that done. That's an important issue, and that application is on our the district in the district website under youth protection. And if you or those that need background checks make application to me, I'll get that done for them.
Phil?
The district, go ahead. If it just go
I'm
ahead
sorry,
and
Phil.
chime in if you.
I want to ask a question about what you're talking about right now. I have been, as Renee said, going around talking to all the clubs about their district grants and their awards. And the YPA comes up all the time. And you know, most of the clubs are going to the Boy Scouts still and doing it, and they think that qualifies them. So I have been trying to direct every club to our website or to you personally, because we've got to make sure we follow the Rotary International guidelines and the guidelines you set out for us. So I want you aware that there are, even my own club, I'm trying to get my own youth person cleared. And well, I did it with the Boy Scouts because he is a Boy Scout troop leader. And so I just want you aware of that.
Yeah, it's helpful if we do the training through the RI if you're going to be doing background checks. But we have a dandy training program with slides on the website. So I would think it'd be easier to do that than go into the Boy Scouts, but or the scouting, as they call them now, scouting with Scouting America or whatever they call themselves now. Yeah, please keep after people to use the district website and the training under youth protection there. Okay, that would be helpful. And another thing, it documents the person that takes the certification, because their name would be put under. We put their name under their club. So within their club, we know the club has certification, people certified for youth protection. So, any other question?
I have a question. This is Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi, how many people do you recommend per club get certified?
I recommend the entire club take the youth training slides. We've suggested this early on that there's training documents that we had on the website be utilized. I even put together a short form. I call it an outline of the training slides, and you can go through those very quickly with the outline. And 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes at a club meeting once a year. It gives the people in the club the necessary elements of youth protection that they need to have. Now, if your youth protection officer needs to have a background check, then we can go into the RI certifications. There's two training modules that we recommend, and they're actually receive a certification, a document at the end that says you've been certified because of this training that you've taken, this modular training you've taken. Does that answer your question?
It does. So for the background check, basically just one person, whoever's designated as the youth protection officer, is the one that gets the background check, but everybody should go through the training.
Well, everybody should go through the training, and I would not limit the background check to just the youth protection officer. In my club, we have an extensive scholarship program. We're giving somewhere around $50,000 in scholarships. I don't know what I did. I hit the button here. $50,000 in scholarships. So we have an interview process where we collect records and and things like that. So I am after my coordinator for the scholarships to have every one of those people that sit at the table and collect those records on students have a background check. Because we're collecting information on people, and we want to make sure that the people that are collecting information are vetted, okay? And we do that with a background check.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
It-
Phil,
it-
oh,
ju-
go
ju-
ahead. Peter.
Just one note on that, though. I mean, please try and limit the background checks to a certain extent. The district does have to pay for those. They're not
That's right.
free. So
Yeah.
it's not like you want your whole club to have background checks.
No.
Yeah.
Like I say, we just the people that will be doing those checks or those interviews and collecting information.
But what we learned in our governor training, like
Mm.
my club does Viva Vienna, it's a 3-day carnival with children all over. If something happens to a child under our watch and we have not gone through the RI training and gotten certified by Phil, we're not covered. It's really serious today with things that are going on, that we make sure that we protect the clubs in the district and the families and the children. I mean, that's my personal opinion, but I really believe that we need to really start taking this seriously for looking at every single project you do that involves children.
Yeah, like you mentioned, a lot of our civic organizations have the same issue with youth protection, and like the Boy Scouts have a program. We also carry insurance, okay, through Rotary, so people have to understand that. But the training is necessary and it should be documented. That's why we want every club to document that training when they send in their affidavit for to identify their youth protection officer, and the club president signs off on their youth protection program that they have done the training. That's our indication. Right now, I can tell you we may have maybe 15 to 20% of our clubs that have done that. So we're needing to do a little bit better in that area. Okay, that affidavit, that club affidavit.
For 24, 25, should we start now? When do you want us
Yeah.
to start?
Should have been done right there at the after pets, because we had a lot of people in pets. We had attention for the new presidents, and I was hoping that we would see more of these affidavits coming through, but we haven't.
Hey, Phil, I was
yes.
the youth protection officer when we had the RILA and that. Do I have to get recertified, or am I still good to go?
When you say when you did RILA, this was last October.
Probably 2-3. It's probably about 4 years ago when I was involved.
Oh, well, yes, you should recertify. You should recertify.
How good is the certification? How long is the certification good for?
Normally 3 years in the Rotary Exchange program. Okay, they remind us every 3 years, go back and do your training. But
Okay.
Okay, I would say what club are you in there?
The Bull Run.
Bull Run. Okay. I don't have a list of them in front of me right now, the ones that have been given me an affidavit.
Also, be sure everyone on this call is clear about which ones need to be taken every year and which one has a carryover. So if you could
Yeah.
Just make sure everyone understands which is which.
The RI modules carry over for 3 years if you're in your position for 3 years in your club. The annual training for the club that the president certifies is an annual refresher training. And I tell people too that you have new members that come in. For new members orientation, you should be doing youth protection training in the orientation sessions. So please do that. And that's why I put together that outline. So you can shorten it, you identify the key terms and things quickly in the outline. So you aren't taking a day to go through a training 30 training slides. Any other questions? This is easy. I mean, you all are, these are pretty easy questions here.
Hey,
Give me
Phil,
some hard ones.
who now, besides the Essex or the youth exchange, who and the youth protection officer, what other club members should receive background investigations? Doesn't that include if you're a Interact, for instance, advisor, where you're going to be by yourself, possibly with the students for different times? RILA, if you're going to be out as a RILA advisor at, where we did the RILA camps, doesn't include those also?
Yeah, I think that's one-on-one, both Interact and RILA. The other issue there, and it's something we forget sometimes, is you're maintaining records of young people. Okay, you want to have telephone numbers and of your Interact, because when you want to get them together, how are you going to communicate with them? You have to have their emails and their telephone numbers and their names. So you want to do that. Also, you want to remember that there's certain things you have to do if you're planning a program. We can get into that, but it's photographing. What else? Oh, if you're driving, permission for chauffeuring students. Those are documents that are on the website that you can pick up, get the parents to sign it, get the photography release forms and things like that. So those are things that are in the training, and that's why we do the training.
So do I assume then that there's another whole series of training I got to sign up and go do?
If you haven't done the RI modular training, what's your position there in the club now?
Well, I'm the membership chairman, I guess, and I've just stepped away from the youth committee.
If you're not doing the youth coordinating in your club, I would think that the annual club training is sufficient. But
Okay, good.
So I don't want you to.
I'll move that over to the other fella and get him going.
There you go. Other questions? Hi, Dan. Dan, I don't hear you.
No, I don't have any other questions. I'll have them get involved with it and get the training.
All righty.
Bill, is it possible to have a Zoom training session for multiple clubs? You know what I mean? If we have the presentation and then help them do the background check applications and stuff like that. I
Yeah,
mean, I'd be willing to help you with that.
Yeah, that's what we did with the, I don't mind on a quarterly basis to do that. I mean, like this, I just don't want to see the same clubs coming in all the time. I want to see,
Exactly.
I want to see that other 60 or 70%
Right.
What if you
completing the
did it-
affidavits.
What if you
Yeah.
did it by area? What if you had, invited clubs in a particular area that may or may not be already working together on some projects or whatever, but that would kind of bring people together. It would be a smaller crowd, so you're not trying to accommodate a bajillion. And maybe you could do, I don't know what the efficacy of that would be, but I'm just, to your point, you don't want to keep seeing the same clubs.
Yeah.
So if you have it in a particular area and you ask that each of those clubs send at least 1 or 2 people, then maybe we would see more clubs because it would be more personalized
Yeah.
in a way.
Maybe,
And this
maybe,
is all for you,
Yeah.
future talk. These are just,
Yeah.
we're just talking ideas.
it
Mhm.
could be, Renee would probably be the better, would be assistant district governors to have that in their, what do you call
Right.
the responsibilities?
Right.
You know,
And
that
and
they
that
would,
would be great
you know,
to
coordinate
facilitate that and work with
with
you.
me and the youth services officer to
Yeah.
have a session once a quarter, something like that, or,
I
not
would-
once a quarter,
I
but
would say
yeah.
maybe you and Sheila could make that recommendation to Amelia. I think that would be really good for her to hear, to know yeah, I think that's great.
I would gladly help you with that, Phil.
Yeah. We're always looking for ways that we can improve, streamline, make things more accessible, accommodate our members and their needs. So if that's something that we could increase attendance and understanding at the same time, that would be really awesome. Plus, I feel like the more people are informed, sometimes I'll find something out. I still learn something new every day. Sometimes it's about Rotary, sometimes it's not. But I find that the more I learn, sometimes that will spark an interest. So I might not have even thought that that would be something I wanted to do. This may light a fire for someone that wasn't even expecting to get involved in, a program like this. That wasn't an interest for them until they hear just maybe one thing and they're like, you know what? Yeah. So opening it up to more people is a really great idea. Some people join Rotary and have no idea all of the opportunities that exist within our organization because they only see what's going on within their club. And depending on what their club's involved in, they could have limited experience or information based on the availability unless they delve in online, explore websites and stuff. I know there's never any secrets. You can't keep any secrets from Sheila because she just is like, if I need to know something random, I will ask her because she either already knows the answer or she knows where to find it. But people like that never have trouble kind of understanding the deep dive part of it, right? I'm not that person unless I get, something in my head and I'm like, oh, I need to find that out. Most of the time I'm like, moving on. So if this is a way to get people to pause and go, I think that would be really, really great because our youth program, yesterday I was with the Interact kids at a launch of a new Interact club at Thomas Edison High School. And can I tell you that I told all of the kids in that room, no pressure, I said, I don't want to be the last Rotarian. I've said that several times before to several other groups. And it's kind of effective because you watch people's faces and they go, yeah, I don't either. So the kids, that's our next wave. We have to start taking care of our future, not just Rotary, but the world. So big responsibility,
Absolutely.
and I think we are up for the task.
That's why we started the Early Act clubs last
Yes.
year, so that we can grow our own Rotarians, right, Waverly? And that is taken off like fire.
Yeah. All right. So, Phil, what else you got for us? Is there anything else that you need to pass along?
Could I ask a question real quick?
Oh, yeah,
Go ahead.
please.
Yeah, this is Sonia from the Vienna Club.
Hi, son.
Blessed to be with Sheila in the Vienna Club. So what I really want to do, and the reason why, I joined the call, not only because I think this is an important topic, but I need to have a much better understanding of sort of the requirements behind this. So I completely get the youth protection officer training. I get the president training. I understand that piece of it. But I think a previous answer was, oh, everyone in the club needs to be certified, or, oh, if you work with youth, you need to be certified. And I think that's going to be a hard sell to the club. And so what I'm asking for is maybe the sort of the requirement piece as one side, but then if your answer is, well, you know what, we really do need a whole bunch of people to be certified in this, then what strategies do you have to get club members to actually buy into that? Because I can hear the pushback already. Hey, we're not working directly with youth. They're not under the age of 18. We can't be responsible for everything that happens. So what are those strategies and what is the actual requirement for the clubs?
Yes. We have our 4-way test, and I start with that when I talk to people about youth protection, because youth protection isn't just to protect youth, it's to protect our Rotarians too. And sometimes if we have issues in the club, those training slides that we put together don't only address youth, but they address the relations between our own members. So youth protection is a very broad term that we use, but it also is a human relations term within the club. I mean, we're talking about harassment. We're talking about abuse. Harassment can be between two of our members. I mean, so there's ways that we talk to people about being alert to certain situations. So I think that's I leave you with that. If that helps, why we want to have all of our presidents provide an affidavit that at least these training slides have been presented annually at a club meeting.
And
Okay,
Sheila
does that
has put in
follow?
the
Do you
chat-
follow that?
Yeah, Sheila put in the chat the link to the Learning Center that has that module that's just easily accessible.
Would you put it back up, please?
It's the web
in the
page
chat.
where all of the documentation is for youth protection.
Right. So just to summarize then, Phil, the slides, have to be presented to the club every year as a requirement of the Rotary International requirement. So that's really the answer that I'm looking for. So in other
Yes,
words,
yes.
within the program year, it has to be presented to our club.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And
That
your youth services person has to take the online, get the
Okay.
certificate, send it to Phil and say, one person from our club has been certified in this and everyone else has. been.
okay. Great.
And
Thank you for clarifying that.
comes
I
from
just
the
wasn't
president.
clear. So thank you.
Yeah, that comes from the president. So what we'd like to say is within the first month of your Rotarian year, put that on your programs, 20-30 minutes, youth protection. And again, new members, do it in orientation. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to go one further though. Well, you do that, the people that probably really need to be certified when taking the course on the online is if you have an Interact club and an Interact advisor, someone that's going to be dealing very heavily with the youth needs to not just have the briefing that the club president gives the club. They need to take the certification or
Yes.
take the online course and be certified. If they're working with RILA, where they're going to be heavily involved with the youth. Now, if you have another club member who's just going to the Interact club just for one time to see what's going on with the Interact advisor, he doesn't need to, but that person who is dealing with the youth a lot, needs to have that. And that's to protect him and the club members. I mean, so you can say, hey, we took the precautions to do these things. And I'll add one other thing here just because we briefly touched on this, but it is really important when you start dealing with youth and if you're taking them someplace, that's the insurance. You know, your club needs to make sure that they have read and seen what Rotary insurance covers, because it doesn't cover a lot. Okay, it covers, you know, maybe the president, the officers. It doesn't cover a lot of people, and if they're not Rotarians, it doesn't cover them at all. And one thing they do mention, and I know this from because we didn't think about it, this was back 10 years. There used to be a thing called UN Day, Rotary UN Day, up in New York City at the UN. It was on a weekend, and we took Interact kids up there. Well, one thing that they do say is if you are crossing a state line or going outside of your district and crossing a state line, then those kids have to have insurance. Rotary insurance does not cover them. So things like that. That's why I say you need to become aware on the insurance side very carefully of what the insurance covers, what it doesn't, and what your club needs to do if you're doing something where a member is, or your club is holding something like we did with those Rotary UN days, because we weren't aware of that. Everyone was thinking, well, Rotary insurance covers it. That's Rotary insurance is pretty limited. So keep that in mind.
Anybody else?
Any other questions?
All right, well, is that all you had, Phil? Is there any other information that you wanted to share, or are we good for you?
I think we've covered it all here. I just people ask where are these documents, and you know, they're right there on the on the district website. And if
I
not,
think that-
my telephone number and email is there, and I do get a lot of emails and calls. So
Okay, good. It's good to know people are finding the information, and if they have questions that they're reaching out to you. That's awesome. And then maybe track those questions, and if we can find solutions to things that are easy, then let's make them easier. So if we're getting feedback and it's such and such, you know, make notes of that, or as you're working through those policies and procedures, incorporate that information, because if we can make this as simple as possible, and it is fairly simple, but still there are always questions, because it's like, well, what if this, and then if I'm doing this, then it's this, and then, but if I'm not doing that, but I'm doing that, then it's this. So there's always a question about what do I need, because we want to make sure we're protected, the kids are protected, and everything. So the easier, the more simpler, the most clarifying language we can use. If there's anything we can do to make it better, let's do that, because I think that this is one of those things that's so important. And I don't want to do the thing where we're like, oh yeah, that totally needs to change, and then someone else can do it. You know, if we need to change it, let's do it. So let me know if you guys have feedback and you're like, hey, you know, can we change this? Can we change that? Or can we ask RI something? You know, they are so accessible. They will answer any questions we have. And they were the ones that helped us identify that it would be so, you know, that we could use the Learning Center and that kind of stuff. Like we had to work through to get the answers ourselves. So it's not crazy that you guys have questions, because we did. We did. So
I
think
like
for
to.
all the work you've done on this, Phil,
Yeah.
to make
I'd
it.
like to. Go
Bill,
ahead.
if you would tell everyone where they should send copies of their certificates to when they've completed, because while the club should keep the records,
Yeah.
we need to make sure they're sending those to the district for record keeping
Yeah.
also.
What I get in what is confusing sometimes, I'll get a certification from a Rotarian, but Rotarian doesn't tell me what club they're in. So I need to know club, name, and position, what
Right.
position you have. That way I can in our documents file, I can put that name, that's the person been certified under a club. Okay, so that that kind of fills out the club's training, okay? And that will help.
Yeah.
Uh,
Can you put the email address in the chat, Phil, for where you want those sent to?
Yeah, yes, I'll put that in.
And then
It's District 7610 Youth Protection at gmail.com. Yes.
all written out, District
Yes.
7610, okay,
610.
District 7610 Youth Protection.
Hmm.
Okay,
I-
on where it, when we give the instruction for folks to turn in the youth protection information in wherever that is located, does it indicate that please don't forget to include, and if it doesn't, maybe we should add, please don't forget to include your job title or your Rotary Club title and your Rotary Club name when you submit this form. If that isn't, spelled out, I wouldn't have thought of it. I would have just said, I'm gonna send it to you and you can see who I am. So, I mean,
Yeah, what I like to see is when the president sends that affidavit in,
mhm,
they send the
That they would
name
do it.
and the position
mhm.
and the email and telephone number. If I have an
Okay.
email, it's just as good as telephone
Okay.
number.
Yeah,
The-
then maybe we could put that recommendation or that suggestion in writing somewhere so people can get their hands on it and know or think, oh, that's what I need to do. And if it's already written out somewhere, then that's on me for not knowing because I have not gone and clicked through.
Let
So,
me have Mike put that right on the website.
okay. I think that
All
would be
right,
great.
is that all
if you
right,
could add
Phil?
that.
We can put it
Yes.
right under your name and everything.
Yep.
Yes.
If
Okay,
that's something
I
you're
will,
seeing people are forgetting, let's help them remember. Thank you, Sheila.
And
That'd be great.
yeah, just to remind people, we have youth exchange, and we have youth programs in the district. A lot of the interaction we have with our youth programs sometimes don't carry over to youth exchange. I think we only have one student who has come forward for youth exchange this year, which I think that's we're just not taking advantage of a terrific program. We used to have a very
Vibrant.
vibrant program in the past. So
Yeah.
so if we could do that, that would be helpful, particularly Interact. We have so many good Interact students, and I think that we could really see this youth exchange program a little more vibrant in the district. So
And I think it will be. I think we're working towards that. I'm
yeah, I
pretty
think
excited
COVID
about
kind of
the plan.
did a job on us. So
Yeah. All right. Well, then, if you've completed your presentation and we don't have any further questions,
I
or
have one
comments-
tidbit.
Yep,
I have
go right
one
ahead.
tidbit. Okay. I had an exchange student in our home, an Indian, 70, almost 65 years ago. He now is in a club. I took him and introduced him to Rotary when I was in India, and he's joined a club. Well, he was visited by the incoming president, Rotary International president, and I went online and found out that her club is in McMurray, Pennsylvania.
It
And
is.
I asked my friend Corinne, I said, did you tell her that you were in Pittsburgh for 5 years in an exchange?
Yeah,
So I
that's
mean,
so
that's,
awesome.
those are the awesome things we have with exchange programs. I mean, just the past
connections.
month here, we had one of our exchange students 2 years ago visited us in Florida. So I mean, that's why I just love this program. I love the youth protection, but I love the exchange program as well. So
Mhm.
okay.
Thank
God
you.
bless.
Thank you so much. I continue to hear wonderful things from people that have been part of it in their youth, to people who are in it as adults, supporting the youth. So thank you for all of you on the call for your interest and your assistance with the success of the youth programs in District 7610. now and in the future. So we really do appreciate you guys being here and taking your lunch hour to hang out with us. So with that, I will just say to everyone that was here, thank you for your time. PDG Sheila, of course, thank you for being here. Peter, thanks for the support. And Phil, thank you for preparing that
Thank you very much.
presentation and giving us the information so we can be successful. You guys have a really awesome and fantastic rest of your week. And I will see you guys in a bit. I am leaving next Tuesday for Singapore to go to the International Convention for Rotary. So hopefully I will come back with a lot of rah-rah to finish out the year. I'm really excited. So I will see you guys upon my return. Have a good one.
Bye.
Good night. Thank you.